Roger, the front yard of this house is really small. It's only about 6 to 8 feet wide. The front span here is about 25 feet. Then it turns the corner, and it's very irregular. You've got a bump out here, and then the yard tucks into this little corner right here, and so it's really difficult to water. If you take a sprinkler and you attach it to a hose and you leave it here, it's going to spray the house, it's going to miss the corner, and it's got me thinking, is this a good candidate for an in-ground sprinkler system?
Well, it is, Kev, but usually when I do irrigation system, I'm covering large areas and I use big rotary heads. Today, to cover this area, we're going to have to use specific spray heads with precise patterns to get the coverage we want, but it all starts with a water supply. Kevin, we're going to operate our irrigation system off of this hose bib. Now, the first thing I need to check is how many pounds of pressure are coming out of here. I need 30 to run the sprinklers. So what I did is I attached a pressure gauge to this hose bib and found out we have 80 PSI. So that's great. We're in good shape. The second thing I need to check is flow. So what we're going to do is put that 5-gallon bucket down and just open that up and time how long it takes to fill the bucket. All right, that's good, Kev.
So I got 30 seconds for 5 gallons, which is
10 gallons per minute, and that's the number we're going to use to determine what type of sprinkler heads we're going to use and how many. Kevin, today we're going to use a series of these sprinkler bodies, and each one of these bodies is a riser. On the end of the riser, we're going to put different nozzles. Each one will have a different spray pattern. We're going to start here with a nozzle that's going to throw a 90-degree curve, so it's going to come out to here and then wrap around like this.
Okay.
Next to that, we're going to put one nozzle that has 180 degrees on it, and it's going to come out like this and then come back, and then we'll put in another 180-degree nozzle over here.
Well, wait a second, Roger. If you do two 180s next to each other, I envision these arcs coming together, meeting at a point, and then leaving a gap here in the middle.
Right, what we're going to do is we're going to put the sprinkler heads so they're closer together so we get head-to-head coverage.
So you'll actually have an overlap of water?
Right. It'll actually be more efficient watering.
All right.
No gaps. Then down here in the corner, we're going to put another 90-degree angle to cover here, and then we'll just continue on down the line. But it all starts with a precise layout, starting with this 90-degree head in the corner. We want to water the lawn and the plants and not the house. Now, I know it's 9 feet from the house to this wall, so we're going to use spray heads that have an 8-foot radius.
All right.
Now, I'm going to start you here and pull the tape out, and I want you to go out to 8 feet and put in a flag for me.
All right. So is this how we get our head-to-head coverage? This nozzle is going to throw all the way back to the first, and the first is going to throw all the way to the second?
Yep, no dry spots.
All right.
We'll go right down to 16 now.
All right, 16.
All right, Kevin, here's the process. We're going to dig a 6 to 8 inch trench right down the middle of the lawn. And then into that trench, we're going to put this 1-inch poly pipe. This is our main water supply. We're going to tee into that, and attached to the tee is going to be this flexible pipe, which will allow us to put the sprinkler heads right next to the wall.
All right, you scrape up the grass, I'll dig a trench.
Now, Kevin, remember earlier we measured our flow rate?
Which was 10 gallons a minute.
Right. Now, each one of these nozzles has its own flow rate. We have to be sure that the total of the flow rates doesn't exceed 10 gallons per minute.
Do they?
No, they don't. We're good.
If they did.
If they did, we'd have to go split them up and go to 2 zones. Kevin, our polyethylene supply line comes in rolls of 300 feet. What I want to do right now is I'm going to cut off a piece about 8 feet long using my pipe cutter.
Okay.
And we're going to take and lay it in the trench. All right, you good down there?
Yep.
All right, lay that right down in the trench.
Yep.
Cover it up in the middle. All right, once we get this covered up, Kevin, we're going to attach our 3/8 flexible line to this end. Now we start by sliding this 1-inch clamp onto our 1-inch poly pipe. I'm going to heat up the end of the pipe.
You're just softening it?
That's right, so I can slide this fitting in the end.
Okay.
And once that goes in, we'll slide that up, and I'm just going to take and crimp it off with these crimpers, okay?
So just compression?
Right, I just tightened up that hose clamp to hold this fitting into place. Now we're going to attach our flexible pipe to the sprinkler head.
So same process?
Right, heat that end up for me. Now in this case, we don't even need a clamp. We'll simply take and slide it on the end. All right, now that flexible pipe is all the way in on that fitting. It's not going to come off.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to put the head where it's going to go, and that's going to come off. You want to just cut a little bit off of that for me? All right, good. Now heat that end of the flex pipe up for me. All right, with that end of the flex pipe heated up, I'm just going to slide it onto the connection. It'll be nice and tight. Now the flex pipe is tight on the fitting. We're just going to lay this head right down where we want it and backfill the line. You got it? Pack it right in. Give me a little more. I'm just going to pack it right around the head. Make sure it doesn't move. At the next head, we're going to use this T connection. Now this is going to go in the 1-inch line. Now if you slide that clamp on, so if you just heat that up. All right, let me slide it in. Turn it that way. Now you take the crimps. We'll lock that down.
All right, ready?
Yeah. All right, now we're going to put on our flex pipes. If you heat up that end, all right, now take the head, and slide it right in. Push it hard all the way in. Great. Okay, I'm going to hold it here. Measure down to where you want to make your cut. It's going to be right where my thumb is.
Got it.
Leave the thumb. Okay. Heat up the end of that flex pipe. All right, now slide it onto our connection. All the way in. Good. Okay, let's put some dirt on the flex pipe and the head. Press that right in there, good. All right, let's move on to our next connection. Kev, let me show you how these nozzles come to us. Now this orange cap is not a nozzle, but it allows us to pull up and extend the riser. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this orange cap off, and the first thing we're going to do is we are going to drop in a filter. This keeps any debris from getting up into the nozzle. And then we take our nozzle and screw it down into place.
So this is where we choose our 90 degrees or our 180 degrees model, whichever one we want.
Whatever we want. Screw it down in place, and we're ready to go. Anytime you install an irrigation system, you have to make sure that the water from the irrigation can't contaminate the domestic water of the house, and that involves a backflow preventer.
All right.
This hose bib already has a backflow preventer mounted on it.
And in this town, that's sufficient?
It is, but if you didn't have that backflow already mounted, you could buy one like this, simply screw it on, and you would be legal in this town, but you've got to check your local ordinances.
Other towns might have different rules.
That's right.
Okay. So below the backflow preventer, we have got a timer?
Think of it as a splitter, Kevin. On this side, we have an attachment for a hose where at any time you could get water for a hose. This side is a battery-operated timer, which will tell the irrigation system when to come on and when to go off.
Perfectly sufficient for a single zone. Now we just make a last
We're
connection?
just going to make our last connection. You give me a little heat. All right, I'm just going to slide the clamp up. You want to crimp that off for me, Kev? All right, we're set to test the system. The great thing about having a timer is you can set it to water the lawn early in the morning, which is the best time to water. Now, this timer also has a manual override, so all I got to do is hit this.
Fire it up.
And the sprinklers are going to come on.
Cover that up for you until you get out of there. Okay. That looks pretty good. So now we just can fine-tune them so that we get the proper coverage here. And a few hours of work, homeowner never has to water the lawn again.